Welcome to the Café Negro Show. This is your host, George, and Adriana is behind the scenes today. Thank you so much for joining us again. We have a special show today. Today's episode is titled, What Can I Do to Be Successful in Life? I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that's had that question. Me and my wife constantly have had that question from the beginning of our relationships and till now. And once again, like I said, the question, what can I do to be successful in life? So I thought of a good friend of mine, Dario, who has been successful in his career, and I wondered what he had to say about it. So today, our special guest is none other than Mr. Dario. Dario, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I am doing good, man. I'm doing good. Good. Thank
Excellent,
you for having
excellent.
me.
No, thank you so much for being here. I know that you have a busy schedule, so I'm not going to take too much of your time, and we're going to go straight to the point. I know that our listeners have a lot of questions, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put that in the comment or any tips yourself for those people that, or if you have an answer for what can I do to be successful in life, please, we'd like to hear from you. Go ahead and add that to the comments. But without further ado, Dario, so you've been able to be successful in your career. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what you've been able to accomplish. Who are you?
Well, yeah, yeah. Like you said, I'm Dario, man.
True
Yeah,
story.
yeah. Well, success. I mean, it can mean a lot of different things for everybody, but I mean, what you brought me here for today is financial success,
Yes.
and
That's a good way to start, though.
I'll,
You're
I'll
right.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you can research it. I don't even know the definition of it, to be honest,
Mm,
but I'm gonna just say what I've experienced on success in the finances and it's there's a lot of different subjects that we could talk about and spend maybe hours, but I'm gonna just keep it short, sweet, and simple.
nice.
And I think I have 3 points, and the 3 points are hard work and connections and who do you listen to for advice.
Woo!
That's
Okay. Wait. You can't just go ahead and just say that and just act like you didn't say nothing amazing. Why don't we go ahead and let's break it down for our listeners? Because I know a lot of us, just like me, were thinking about rewinding that a little bit. But go ahead, give us that point number one again. What was that point number one? Because it sounds simple, but it's powerful. What is that?
hard work is the
Hard
first.
work. You ain't
It's
lying.
yeah. It's not in sequential order. I mean, but the 3 points that I just said was hard
Are
work,
essential.
yeah,
So what do
connections,
you
and
mean by hard work? I mean, do I like dig holes or do I mean,
um,
what does that mean? I mean,
hard work enough to stand out from the rest, and
oof.
because like in talking about me, I came from you know humble's background, and I worked at a company that it was over 1,000 employees, and
Look at that. Like
hard
many of
work,
us.
yeah, like hard work. It wasn't all, but it was just a piece of the puzzle on success. But it
Mm.
did help out a lot, and
And it does
meaning,
show.
yeah,
It
hard
does
work.
show.
Like there's a saying that says hard work beats talent.
Isn't that
You
the
know,
truth? Yes.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
so funny that you mentioned. I was just thinking about that, not in those words, but I've noticed, having worked in, my whole life as well. There are definitely some people that come in with some amazing talent, and sometimes you might be intimidated because you understand that they have that advantage. But it's funny how if you're consistent and you just continue that work ethic, that hard work, if you're nonstop and you just work hard, eventually sometimes these people with their own like you said, talents, they rely on it too much. But if you have a talent, you're not able to put it to work, then it's just, I mean,
yeah,
what good is it at all, right?
yeah. I mean, my and specifically in what I did was hard work was I took it to the next level, meaning like holidays work. Like
Mm,
I would work during the holidays.
so you put in that
Um,
time.
yeah, yeah. And like even right now, if like people say that I made it, the minimum hours that I will work is about 60,
Mm.
65 hours a week.
Well, what do you mean? I thought so. I thought you see that's a concept, a perception that a lot of people conception. I've watched too many movies. That's a perception that a lot of people have. Like look at this guy with all that money, and they Of course, I'm sure there are some people that are born into money, but that's usually not the case. A lot of us that have been able to have anything, it's been work, it's been time, it's been hours, and it's been sacrifice. Like you said, perhaps work in those hours that other people are not willing to.
Yeah,
And
no, I mean it is
so it's a
you know,
sacrifice.
yeah, it
What
is
is
a
point number two again?
yeah. Well, the first point, hard work, but let me let you know that all
Let
of
me
these
tell you
three
something.
points, these 3 points, they have to work together. I mean, there's more than that, but I think if you do these three, like it would take you to the next level.
You got a
And
good shot.
so yeah, you got a good shot from the rest. So
Nice,
um,
real
I mean,
nice.
hard work doesn't work at all if you don't have any connections. Like you could work so hard and you're never gonna be noticed.
So you're saying
People are not
who you know is important.
correct.
Look at
Yep,
that.
yep. It's
Wow,
also
now
it's
that's
also who you know,
real
man.
talk. Not
Like
everybody's gonna tell you that.
no, it's who you know. It's who you know has actually got me a lot further in life because I know people
Hmm.
that work so much harder than me
Hmm.
and they just don't know nobody and they can't.
It's
It, it
it's just like in
it's like
music.
yeah, in anything.
How many how
It,
many how many amazing music artists have we seen in the New York subways growing up that will never make it because not because of their talent is it's out of this world, but they don't
yeah,
have the right connection. They don't have that person that's gonna take them to where they need to be.
yeah. And then
So very interesting.
once I started getting connected with
How do you get connected though? How do you do this? I mean, for
well,
example, I'm an extrovert, and I can see that. In your case, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, you're more introvert.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that
So
that that proposes
it
some
take
challenges.
yeah, but my hard work just stood out more than the average person. And I don't,
Mm,
it is when I used to work in the field with my tools on and like manage the guys on the project, like the guys that would actually own the buildings, they would go golfing with the owners of my company,
mm,
and then they would talk, and then my name started coming up, and then
that's it.
there was an opportunity. One of the older guys that were working in the office was retiring. He was in his 60s, and then there was an opportunity that opened up, and I interviewed from 3 different people, and I got the position, and at that time it wasn't money because I
Mm,
actually got a pay cut to get
look at that.
promoted, if it makes any sense,
Look at that.
because I was going on salary versus hourly with
Hmm.
overtime. So
Interesting.
I made a sacrifice to sacrifice a little bit of money for a few years,
Almost like you were
and
looking at the bigger picture.
yeah, definitely. I just want to learn another side of the industry, to learn another side of the business that it would take me to the next level, and it did. You know, I
Outstanding.
I
So
quit
you're.
my
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I,
Sorry.
I actually quit my job for a year because I was making, and I still make more money outside than my actual 9 to 5 job.
Look at that.
So
Well, I mean, I'm
so
sure it just became part of your character, but kind of like what you're saying, your actions have been speaking louder than your words. So even if you're not an introvert, even if you don't feel like you have the way of talking your way into things, then your actions. I mean, just make your actions talk for themselves. Like Dario said, because of the amount of work he was doing, because of the quality work that he was doing, there was no other choice but for his name to come up within these meetings, and that's when people get the name, and that's where you start networking and getting those connections. That's
yeah,
awesome. So,
and
and
I
and
start. I
mhm.
mean, I started getting connected with decision makers, and then those like I started going to dinners with these people, and I was like a sponge. Like I was
Mm,
like so excited to like see what kind of language they were talking about, and um, I would come back and like try to figure out and study what is it the terms that they were using, because you know how people say don't ask a stupid any question is not a stupid question. You can I didn't
there's
want to
no
be
such
the guy.
thing.
Yeah,
Yes, there's
I
no
didn't want to
such
be
thing as
that
a stupid
guy.
question. I've heard that so many
Yeah.
times, and I promise you that is not true.
I was not going to be that example of like, hey, you know what? There's no such thing as a stupid question. Well, let me ask it. So I try to figure it out on my own. And like,
That is great. Oh, I'm glad
yeah,
you said that. And it's so funny that you mentioned that. A couple years ago, I was working, and my supervisor, we were going through our um, the one-on-one, when they review how your performance has been and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And she mentioned that she's like, you don't come to me asking me these questions and stuff. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And I told her, I'm going to be honest with you. I I think that's not true. So I don't come ask you because I try to figure it out on my own. Because I feel like if I'm coming to you, I'm gonna come to you with an answer. Because you are my supervisor. So I usually try to ask maybe a coworker before I go to her, because I don't want to have a stupid question.
No,
So
absolutely. Yeah. I
that's
mean,
great.
nobody
That's
wants to
funny.
be wants to. I think those are more like legal policies that they have to disclose.
No such thing. Yeah, just because they have to be available, accessible. But the truth of the matter
Yeah.
is, if we spend the whole day talking about a subject, then you come asking me about that subject, then I'm like, what are you doing the whole time? But like you said, you're right. It's
Yeah.
more like a
Yeah.
legal
Yeah.
term. No,
Yeah.
we're open.
But yeah. No, I mean, and when when I started learning more about financial side of the industry and applying it, I also something that I didn't say as the 3 points, but I'm just thinking about. I also is I started getting promotions, but I never forgot the people that got me there, because not it was not just me, it was just people under me. So I would help the people that made me look good, and I would promote them as well. And yeah,
That's
they would just
awesome. It sounds like
as I
a
moved
hip
up,
hop
they
song that I
moved up
heard
with me.
once.
And yeah. And one one of the guy actually one of the guys when I'm 31 years old now, but one of the guys that was
Very
with
young.
me in the field that was 19 years old, and we used to work in the field. Yeah, he's
Yes.
my right hand man now today. And
Look at
yeah,
that.
he's I pay him a six-figure salary.
And you know
Just
what? Yeah, having you mention that also brings me to another idea as far as like people that quit their jobs and just leave in bad terms. It's just such a bad habit. I mean, even if that never were to come back to you as an individual, you're just how can I say this? You're affecting your name. There's something that you can't really change, that you should protect in this life, and I believe your
yes, your
name, your
reputation.
reputation is something very important. Absolutely. Because you
Hmm.
don't know what's going to happen in the future. Another opportunity may come, and then somebody's going to be like, you know what, I remember this person,
Yeah.
and here's the
I,
reputation.
yeah, and it's something that I always cherished. I mean, I've talked to my higher ups and said, hey,
Wonderful.
this is what I'm gonna do. And um, so as we keep talking, I keep remembering things. And
I know
but
that's what happens, especially
another
when you're
thing
having
is,
a nice cup of coffee. Forget about it.
yeah, it's I don't rely on one source of income. I have multiple
Mm,
flows of income, and that's helped me a lot.
interesting.
And so
Interesting.
like if something happens to my job, my 9 to 5 job, like
Hmm.
I
Like
will
these
be.
days, I mean, in these days we're living where that's happening all day, every day in our communities all around the world. People losing their jobs. So
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah,
That's an amazing
yeah,
tip. Don't have like one only source of income.
yeah. No,
That's
the average
scary.
multimillionaire has 7 sources of income. And like I mean,
Wow.
I'm like so far. I only have three. I'm working on my fourth,
Look at
my
that.
f- my fourth. And
But you're
when
31. I mean,
yeah
you have a
when
lifetime ahead of you, brother.
yeah. And then listening to the advices, like having mentors, but mentors that actually count, not somebody that just watched the video, read a book, and started giving you advice.
True
Because there's
story.
a lot of
Somebody
that.
that walked the walk. You
There's
know?
a lot of that now,
Oh
especially
my
with
goodness.
like YouTube
Yeah, especially now that we're
and
in quarantine, everybody's opening new podcasts and YouTube shows. You listen, man. No, but you are not lying. It is so important to know who's talking to you. It
No,
is so
absolutely.
important to
Yeah,
know
yeah,
who's
yeah,
talking to you.
yeah, yeah. So,
There's a lot of
like,
guys talk.
I would hear I would hear people that are like 50, 60 years old that come up to me and like tell me, give me some network marketing pitch and advices, and I was like, I would end up, consulting them,
Correct, correct. No,
Yeah,
because it's unfortunate. I mean, there's just too much out there, and that's what kind of gets
yeah,
scary. Like, who do you listen to? Whose advice do you listen to?
yeah.
I
You
guess.
you got a saying that I heard the other day. It was like, um, I don't remember exactly, but you said don't be like be the one they write about or something like that. Like,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah, I forgot we were talking about some.
It doesn't. I mean, not that reading or studying is bad.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. But I
Uh,
mean, if that's all you do is talk about the books you read, and eventually you don't do nothing with your life, is like it's a little counterproductive. You know,
no.
be the person they write about.
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, if in a short, sweet, and simple, yeah, that's the advice that I can give
Man,
anybody.
what
I
else
mean,
can we ask for? Once again, I mean, we're very grateful, Dario, that you have taken some time to talk to us here at Cafe Negro Show. Like I told you, people, we're gonna have interesting topics every episode, so please continue to tune in. If you do have any questions for Dario, he is going to be able to follow up with this actual episode. So please put in a comment down below, share, like if you disagree on something, or if you have your own advice for us to hear, please put on the comment and we'll put out a shout out on the next episode. Once again, this has been the Cafe Negro Show with your host, George and Adriana, who is behind the scenes today. Today, we had our host, Dario. Some last words before we head out today.
the grind don't stop. Just work hard, man. And
Work hard, play hard.
hard work beats talent. And yeah,
I love it.
like
I love it. I love it. And we're going to have you back for more. I'm sure after this episode, we're going to have a lot of questions in the comments. So thank you again for joining us. This has been Cafe Negro Show.